Hello Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and welcome to April. March 29th, the month starts off with a concentration of energy and focus in your third Aries house and your second Pisces house. Neptune just entered Aries at 0 degrees, which is the Fool card in the Tarot and the degree of new beginnings, and that happened on March 31st as well. There was a beautiful new moon solar eclipse in the third house of writing, communication, marketing, siblings, cousins, childhood education, day-to-day travel, your daily thoughts, vehicles and small business and skill building to make money at 9 degrees. And the portal of energy remains within 6 to 8 weeks before and after the eclipse felt the strongest, and then culminating within 6 months by the time of the Aries full moon, October 6th at 14 degrees. This powerful eclipse was in a wide sextile with the planet of transformation, Pluto, in your first house. This can be helping you transform a dream or a goal or set it in motion, and to see some kind of fruition in the next several weeks or by the time of the full moon in October. This could be a healing change, especially since you still have Chiron, the wounded healer, in your third house, around your voice, your neighborhood, your written projects, speaking, writing, your neighborhood, local travel, your siblings, cousins, education, like skill building classes to increase your marketability, to make more money. This can be finding that neighborhood that feels like home, that house, that apartment, the right words to flow in a communication project, healing writing or speaking wound. I know personally I've dealt with this. For the longest time, I stopped writing due to my career and my children and my husband, but now they're older, and my career is such that I can do other things I can do my career on autopilot at this point, which affords me a little bit more time to use my voice with my audience and plug away at my book that I'm writing. Unfortunately, I still haven't been able to travel much, but I'm hoping that can change with this Pluto sextile to the solar eclipse. And then Jupiter was aspecting it as well from the 5th house, again highlighting themes around like being able to have fun and travel, local travel, a new vehicle, breaking through blocks, positive changes for your children if you have any. I've definitely seen that as well with my own children, thank God. Teaching or collaboration opportunities, just to name a few. Opportunities for fun or romance or even money luck through a local lottery or something like that. Maybe something creative you've been working on, or some positive messages can come through via text, email, social media, etc. You can hear more on that by clicking the link in the description box down below. I'll link that eclipse horoscope for Aquarius. April 8th through April 30th, Mercury goes direct in Pisces at 26 degrees, showing a slow but now forward momentum in the second house matters like your money, your bank accounts, investments, stocks, self-value and worth, but also like what you eat, your face, land, luxury goods, immediate family. If you had anything at a standstill, you can start to see progress now in this area. Maybe you're communicating with a partner about your finances and things like that. But also this has to do with 5th house matters like love, romance, fun, children, luck, winning, sports, self-expression, creative business, because Mercury rules that house. The 5th house is Gemini. Mercury also rules your Virgo 8th house of death and rebirth, soul bonding, intimacy, which happens here, shared resources, alimony, inheritance, taxes, rebates, loans, mystery. Ooh, sorry about that. My phone just went off and I didn't realize I didn't have it silenced. Anyway, mysteries, magic, occult, just to name a few. Don't sign any contracts. If you can, wait until Mercury is out of shadow by April 26th. Uranus is in Taurus in the 4th house and is sextiling the stellium in Pisces in the 2nd. And this could be a story around happy, sudden, smooth changes in your bank account, to your bank account, or about your ability to earn more money, as Venus rules Taurus but is sitting exalted in Pisces in your 2nd house of money, money that you hustle to earn, not being dependent on another's resources. You can start working from home or have a sudden opportunity to work from home happen. Ooh, maybe you won the lotto with Jupiter sitting in that 5th house. That would be explain being able to leave a humdrum, mundane, existence at a brick and mortar structure and doing what you really want to do. Anyway, it could be, Mars and Cancer in that 6th house, cutting away from a job that doesn't serve you any longer. And it's like sudden, smooth, happy changes for sure. I better go buy a lotto ticket. Maybe it's also changing your health. Your health routines are changing up, working out at home. You're working out closer to home, and this is showing up as a healthier, more energetic you that is helping with your day-to-day life, your work output, and increasing how you feel about yourself. That could be happening. April 12th, we have the full moon in Libra at 23 degrees in the 9th house of travel. It's a lucky house of long-distance travel, teachers, gurus, foreign language, philosophy, in-laws, Ivy League college, grandchildren, flying, having a bird's eye view of life's more complicated situations. It's where we can compartmentalize what life throws at us and understand it and integrate it into knowledge that we can then broadcast and share with the world at large. This moon trines Jupiter and Gemini in that 5th house. So this could be you releasing a creative work, written or verbal, out into the publishing house of the 9th. And it could also be meeting a fated love while traveling. Having Jupiter in the 5th is a big indicator of new love. If you haven't, don't worry, you have Jupiter here for 2 more months. And if you realize at this time that there is much more you want to do around publishing or broadcasting, you have some kind of dream there, plant that seed now while Jupiter is still here in a creative house and forming a trine to your 1st house of self-directed action and that lucky house of foreign shores and publishing and legal contracts and settlement. And it's a lucky house, and it could be a foreign audience too. It's a use it or lose it time, Aquarius. This is affecting you most from 19 to 28 degrees. Chiron will oppose this full moon from the 3rd house exact, but it could also look like a healing story that can happen now due to maybe a partnership or contract overseas or related to your voice, because even though Chiron is opposing the moon in your 9th house, Jupiter is here in the 5th making a sextile to Chiron and then beaming over, to that moon in the 9th. The moon also rules your 6th house of health, work, enemies, day-to-day living, people you hire, and maybe health is getting in the way of what you're trying to accomplish or complete. Because Mars and Cancer is being squared by Pluto in your sign. But all in all, with Jupiter in the mix, I see that there's like a level of protection, not only to your body, to the 1st house, but also to the 9th house as well. Venus is the depositor of this moon, and she's sitting exalted in your 2nd house of self-worth and banking, and she's trining Mars over in that 6th house, work house. So maybe there's a lucrative financial contract, and that's the healing story. Not only around your voice, speaking or writing, but also like increasing your self-worth and knowing your value and starting to really understand what you're worth and possibly being able to change neighborhoods due to... Sorry, Aquarius, I keep getting interruptions. Maybe it's a sign to really pay attention to this section right here. I'll have it all time-stamped in the description box down below. All right, let me go back over this. So knowing your value and possibly being able to change neighborhoods due to a financial glow-up. On April 13th, Venus goes direct in Pisces at 24 degrees. Venus is exalted in Pisces in the 2nd house at the Pisces degree. You can start to make plans to move forward in creative work as a way to bring in income, music, artistry, fantasy, or just being able to rely on yourself to build your own security, as we have the stellium of fate here. You could be making changes to your face, your teeth, your mouth, or changing to a more beneficial diet and see progress with all of the above and maybe even beautiful results, and it's also helping increase your self-esteem and confidence. You can start to see progress in your 9th house of luck, language, travel, learning foreign language, gurus, higher education, legalities and settlements, in-laws, grandchildren, and also your 4th house of home, family, property, family stories around old conditioning that you want to change, as Venus rules Taurus and Libra as well. April 19th through June 18th, Mars is fully awake as he goes into Leo, leaving your 6th Cancer house where he has spent a lot of time due to the retrograde, maybe helping you go back over health matters, work matters, trying to improve them, and is now moving to your 7th house where he can loosen those watery restraints, but may cause a bit of friction because it's moving into the house of partnership. More on that in just a minute. Mars rules your 10th house of career and reputation, legacy and fame, titles in government and political positions, father and father figures. But Mars also rules your 3rd house of day-to-day travel, thoughts, communication, vehicles, siblings, social media, messaging, small business and marketing, lower education, elementary, middle school, high school, and classes that you take to increase a skill set like language, marketing, etc. So you can see forward movement in those houses as well. I'm going to give you the happy before the crappy. It's cheesy. Okay, so Mars will move into a trine with Venus. Good, right? All of the month, going all the way into the first week of June, when they will then kiss goodbye and go their separate ways. The trine between the divine lover starts for you from the 6th house of health and work and day-to-day routines, and trines sweet Venus in your 2nd, exalted in Pisces. So there could be a work and a physical glow-up, a new diet or physical therapy. I can personally attest to this. This is absolutely happening for me because I've been going through physical therapy, but I'll get to that in a minute. And this could be building your body up, helping you feel better in your day-to-day activities. I had a knee injury and I've been going to PT for months now, but there was no progress. Mars retrograde in Cancer, 6th house. You can't make this stuff up. Lo and behold, since Mars went direct, they figured out exactly why my knee wasn't healing and came up with a new exercise plan to strengthen it. And I think by the time Mars moves up to Leo around April 19th, I anticipate that I'll be feeling much better and hopefully ready to hike some mountain peaks that I have goals to hike late spring. We have some high peaks here in New York, so wish me good luck. I tackled a few last October and it was absolutely beautiful. Maybe I'll post some pictures that I took at the summit to help keep us all on point with a bird's eye view from the mountaintop. All right, enough about me and my fitness and health goals. But seriously, this can be exactly what you're focused on around this time. You could be really driven to increase your security via building wealth through your own efforts, and it could have to do with creative work as you have Neptune moving from the 2nd to the 3rd of creative writing and communication. But also we have Jupiter active this month in your 5th house. In Gemini, and you could be focused on writing and communicating or speaking as a way of self-expression, but also a way to make money. Then we have Venus moving from that 2nd house of your face, money, banking, investments, self-worth, over to your 3rd house of communication, social media, vehicles, siblings, neighborhood, and travel within your own country. And Mars moving from the 6th to the 7th of partnerships, marketplace, contracts, public eye in a way, and serious commitments. April 20th to May 20th, Sun moves into Taurus in your 4th house, highlighting everything to do with the home domicile, father figure in the home, a male in the home, mother, family, property, ancestral patterns, and conditioning. This is signifying a period of examining or revealing family issues and highlighting them in a way to move forward. There's a sextile from Venus from the 2nd, which again can represent immediate family and security, and is sextiling Uranus in the 4th. So maybe this is giving you an opportunity to work from home because maybe you're also needed at home around this time. And this also gives you security in finances and within your home domicile. On April 27th, we'll have this new moon in Taurus at 7 degrees in your 1st house. You'll feel it the most if you're Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or rising from 4 to 12 degrees. You could be looking at new beginnings here around those aforementioned topics, but we also have a Mars-Pluto square opposition, and then those two planets are squaring this new moon, creating crunchy energy, showing a need for change. Okay, and a need to take action in 4th house matters. It could have to do with a family member, a child that has to be dealt with in order for new beginnings in your family story to unfold. Maybe they're going through a difficult time. The story is revealed, and now you have to take actionable steps in order to heal it or help fix it or help support them. And just so you're not terrified, you've already experienced this energy with the opposition twice already. The first hit was in November, and then again in January, and then it's happening again now at the end of April. But it won't return for a while. And as long as we have Pluto and Aquarius, we will come up against this opposition each time Mars moves through Leo. And I think right now this is just showing us, because this is new for us, helping us come up with ways now to deal with whatever comes up at this time and prepping us so we're not dealing with any kind of shock the next time it comes through. I don't even think you'll be shocked at this point in the month either. Could also be you and a partner disagreeing on how to handle a family matter or issue, and there's a power struggle here. And this issue has to do with your children or your home. Could have to do with property investments, maybe because this Mars transit has been difficult as Mars cuts and severs, and maybe this has a relationship and this final straw has come to a conclusion, and then the family dynamic will be changing, and this can show the square coming from your 1st house and then your partner squaring over to this, 4th house of home, this new moon trying to happen here. You may be dividing up assets, figuring out alimony or new living situations with this aspect going on in the sky. I just have to mention what I see, Aquarius, it could be happening. There could also just be a power struggle with a partner around a new work opportunity that you may have, and they don't like it, they don't agree with it. They could be used to you being dependent on them, right? And because of this fated North Node with the other planets in the 2nd, you're like, no way. Taking accountability for earning my own income and standing on my own 2 feet and not relying on you. Money through your own efforts. Maybe they don't like seeing you become independent, and it may reveal issues that you have been blind to within your own home domicile, or just not wanting to see this, right? Having our blinders on. Could be revealing issues around them, not feeling secure with something you want to do, or you finding power, right? Because Pluto is coming into your 1st house. It's already here, So, which can give you immense power to like clear out all angles of your life and reconfigure it into a way that supports you better. So there's this epic power struggle, or it could be you trying to burst something out into the 7th house of marketplace. This can definitely be a male figure in the home, though, or male energy. The sun is the depositor of your 7th house, your Leo house, and it's transiting the 4th, and it's being squared by Mars and Pluto. Alternatively, this is creating atomic pressure within you to push out that new work or create work for yourself and just become more dependent on yourself and no one else, as you're trying to find a business partner or an agent, or you're working really hard right now to put something out into the marketplace, but a partner is demanding your attention at that same time. So there's this like massive atomic struggle. I would say look to Uranus in the 4th, who's sextiling Saturn over in the 2nd, and in that area, we can see a liberation around how our money is made, or something new and different that you can get excited about that you're working on. And maybe from the home, and it's giving you the money and financial security you need, especially because we have Venus on the line of that 2nd and 3rd house, trining Mars in the 7th. So again, having to do with communication, speaking projects, podcasting, messages coming through, using your voice, writing contracts is a source of good energy and the ability to make money. Remember that this energy will pass quickly, as Mars is now direct and it's moving fast in a fire sign, Leo. So if anything difficult comes up, it can move quickly. And again, I don't think it's new energy. This has already happened. So it's like, this is like the next bump or the struggle, and then it separates. Per aspera ad astra aquas, it means through hardships to the stars. I'll keep you posted on how this shakes out, and you do the same for me. Take care, and we'll see you in May.